science cannot change anything. I, Bhavya, from Department of Pure Science, wishing you all a very happy and responsible Environment Day because every responsibility finds a way and irresponsibility make excuses. We, as a responsible citizen, let we move forward towards environment saying if you cannot reuse it, please refuse it. Now it's time for inauguration with a positive vibes.
I request Prasad sir to please play the music.
Our cosmic voice is cosmic blue pearl, the most beautiful planet in the universe. Our cosmic voice is cosmic blue pearl, all the continents and the oceans of the world. United we stand, house flora and fauna. United we stand, as species of one earth. Black, brown, white, different colors. इंसान है हम, धरती हमारा घर. हम ही मानव हो, यो संसार हमरो घर. मिलोगे, जमलिया शुदो, लेकिन कोले ना वशिरो, वाला ना मातीने ना. Our cosmic voice is cosmic blue pearl, the most beautiful planet in the universe. Our cosmic voice is cosmic blue pearl, all the people and the nations of the world. All for one and one for all. United we unfurl the blue marble flag. Black, brown, white, different colors. Nous sommes des êtres humains, la tierra est notre maison. Somos seres humanos, la tierra es nuestra casa. Oh, manches ali, dishoshi home and dishia. We are humans, the earth is our home.
Thank you, sir. Starting with the day with the Earth Anthem made us very keen and filled with positive vibes. Now it's time to give tribute to our environment. Firstly, I wish you all a very happy Environment Day. Why Environmental Day is celebrated? The main idea behind marking June 5th as World Environmental Day is so that we are aware of what we needed to be done to protect our environment. The day raises awareness about environmental issues like global warming, marine pollution, human overpopulation, protection of worldwide and sustainable consumption. Now, it's time to give tribute to our environmentalists who have been dedicated their life to environment. Vandana Shiva. Vandana Shiva is an Indian physicist and also an Indian activist. She has an organization devoted to developing sustainable methods of agriculture in 1982. Salu Marada Timmaka. Salu Marada Timmaka is also known as Alada Marada Timmaka because She planted about 385 banyan trees and also planted nearly 8,000 other trees, and she was also awarded with Padma Shri Award. Next, coming to Medha Patkar. Medha Patkar is an Indian environmental activist and also social activist working on various political and economical issues raised by tribals as well as Dalitas. K.K. Neelakantan. K.K. Neelakantan was a leading Indian ornithologist. He is widely regarded as a pioneer of the environmental movement in Kerala for popularizing bind study through his books written in Malayalam. Sunita Narayan. Sunita Narayan is an Indian environmentalist and political activist as well as a major proponent of a green concept of sustainable development, also awarded by Padma Shri Award. Sundarlal Bahuguna. Sundarlal Bahuguna was an Indian environmentalist, and as we all know that he was a Chipko movement leader who got Padma Bhushan Award. It's glad to welcome brings the vibes filled with desires, hopes, and dreams. Now, I request Hashini to welcome the conference.
Love the earth as you would love yourself. Good morning, everyone. I, Arshini from BSc Department, welcome you all. It gives me an immense pleasure to start this auspicious occasion by heartily welcoming everyone. I heartily welcome our chief guest, Dr. Nandini N. I welcome you, ma'am. I heartily welcome our guest of honor, Shri Soundarya P. Manjappa, Chairman, Soundarya Educational Trust. I welcome you, sir. I welcome Srimati Sunita Manjappa, Managing Director, Soundarya Educational Trust. I welcome you, madam. Now, I would like to welcome Mr. Kirtan Kumar, CEO, Soundarya Educational Trust. I welcome you, sir. And I welcome Dr. Suresh C. Hegadi, Principal of Soundarya Institute of Management and Science. I welcome you, sir. Last but not the least, I take the opportunity to welcome our faculty member, all participants, and my beloved friends. I welcome you all. Now, let me give you all a small introduction about our chief guest. Dr. Nandini N is professor and principal investigator, Department of Environmental Science, Bangalore University, Bengaluru, having teaching and research experience of 34 years. Served as Direction of Student Welfare from 2010 to 2012 at Bangalore University. Guided 17 PhD scholars and 6 MPhil students to complete their degree. Implemented and supervised 12 research projects funded by national and state level funding agencies. Published 100 research papers in various national and journals. 35 full papers in final proceeding of international and national conference and 10 books. Member of Court and Executive Council of the Central University of Hyderabad, Telangana. Expert member of Advisory Committee for the Colleges with Potential for Excellence, CPE, University Grants Commission, UGC, New Delhi. Member of Court and Executive Council of Central University of Hyderabad. Member of Biodiversity Management Committee, Government of Karnataka 2020. Member of Expert Appraisal Committee, Thermal and Coal, Ministry of Environmental Forests and Climate Change, MOEF and CCC. Government of India 2020. Ex-member of Expert Appraisal Committee, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, MOEF and CCC. Government of India Industry Tour 2018. Awards. Awarded Commendation and Gold Medal from the Ministry of Defense in 1993-1994. Comfort Fellow of National Environmental Science Academy for the year 2007 to 2008 by International Society for Ecological Communication. Onake Obava Award presented by Light Minded Serving Association and NGO Karnataka in 2009. Best Citizen of India Award 2017 presented by Best Citizen Publishing House, New Delhi. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Award for Teaching and Scientific Excellence 2017 by Maria Labs Research and Development, Chennai. UGIT's Excellency awarded presented at 8th UGIT's International Conference 2019, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, November 2019. Women Researcher Award presented at First International Scientist Award on Engineering, Science and Medicine held on 14th and 15th September 2019, Chennai, India, organized by Very Good Professional Association. Thank you for giving this opportunity to welcome all our dignitaries. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashini. It was delightful. When we reconnect with nature, we will recover, restore the ecosystem. Now, I invite Smita for her presentation.
A very good morning to one and all. Good morning present.
Smita? Smita? Yes, Smita, you can start now. Yes, ma. You can start. Smita, you can start. You are unmuted. Please, you are muted.
I want to
Please
wish all
unmute
of
and
you
speak.
happy World Environment Day. Myself Smita from
A very happy morning to everyone. I'm Pranita from final year BCA, and my theme for speech is creating a good relationship with nature. Nature is an art of God. If you hurt nature, you're hurting yourself. But firstly, what is nature? Nature refers to the interaction between the physical world and the life within it, like animals, birds, plants, and humans. But it is also one of those words that we take for granted. Nature is a part of our life. We grew out of the seeds, the earth, and we are a part of all that. But we are rapidly losing the sense that we are animals like others. Can you have a feeling for tree? Look at it, see the beauty of it, listen to the sound it makes. Can you be sensible to the little plants? One must be aware of all this and have the sense of communication with nature around you. You may live in a town, but you do find trees here and there. Look at it. Feel that you are a part of all that. Be in communication with nature, not verbally, but be a part of it. Feel that you belong to all that. Be able to have love for all that. But most of us are not aware of such relationship. We never look at the trees, or even if we do, we view it of using that tree, either to sit in its shade or to cut it down. There is no well-being without nature's well-being. Everyone is at risk from the loss of habitats and a warming planet. The climate crisis, wildlife emergency, and COVID 19 pandemic show that the existing relationship between people and the rest of the nature is broken. It has become disconnected and narrow. Too often, We see nature as something to use, control, or as a threat to us. To fix this, we need a new relationship with nature, and doing so can also help tackle the crisis in our mental health and well being. Nature connectedness offers simple solutions to help deal with complex societal problems. Improving our relationship with nature responds to the loss of encouraging care and respect for the rest of the natural world. People will be more supportive to the big changes needed if they are more connected to nature and feel that population will also be more likely to take action for nature. For simple actions at home such as recycling or wildlife friendly gardening, giving time to take care in conservation volunteering. Also, through new, more connected relationship with nature, people can live a happier and more worthwhile and sustainable life. We all know we love nature. We know we feel great in nature and we spend time in nature, but we don't know how to connect with nature in an intentional way. With advanced technology, modernization has taken shape, leading to human distancing themselves from nature. The shift to modern lifestyle has enhanced the need for natural resources, changing the human perception of nature. Humans may be strong enough to dominate, but we cannot afford to destroy nature. Human needs to collaborate with nature to change the world for better. Humans play a vital role in nature. To achieve sustainable future, the humans need to revisit their relationship with nature. There are many suggestions on how human can begin to build a sustainable strategy is to educate people about the need to conserve the environment and provide them with real-life example of some negative impact of destroying the environment. Improving people's relationship with nature, their nature connectedness comes through simple yet meaningful engagement with nature. The pathway to nature connectedness provide a new and applied approach to improving human-nature relationship. So some of the ways that activate people's connection with nature are senses. Noticing and actively engaging with nature through the senses. Simply listening to bird song, smelling wildflowers, and watching the breeze in the trees. Emotion. Engaging emotionally with nature. Simply noticing the good things in nature, experiencing the loss and calm they can bring, and sharing feeling about nature with others. Beauty. Finding beauty in the natural world, simply taking time to appreciate beauty in the nature and encouraging with it through art, music, and in other words. Meaning, exploring and expressing how nature brings meaning to life. Simply exploring how nature appears in songs and stories, poems and art, and by celebrating the signs and cycles of nature. Compassion, caring for nature, simply thinking about what we can do for nature and taking actions that are good for nature, such as creating homes for nature, supporting conservation charities, and rethinking our shopping habits. Make a commitment to connect with nature. Our lives are busy, our minds are even busier. So first take step to developing our spiritual relationship is committing to connect. Create alone time in nature. Here are some reasons why nature makes us feel good and helps us heal. Nature teaches you that there is nothing wrong with you. When you are in nature, you don't have to look in mirrors. Instead, you are either focused on the setting around you or what you are doing. Time slows down. Trees and plants grow slowly. It shows everyone is moving according to their natural rhythm, and you begin to do the same. Nature models just enough sustainability. You surrender comfort and control. Nature reminds you of death so you can appreciate your life and its natural cycle. As the noise of crazy culture fades, your mind calms and you experience silence and stillness. You behold the beauty of nature. You remember that you are connected to all living things. You feel that you belong to this earth. You remember that you are what you truly are. You feel comfortable with your own skin. You experience the divine, whether you call it God or Mother Earth. This is why nature heals and helps us to live a meaningful and joy life. The relationship may be with family, friends, or nature. We all need to dedicate is love, time, and communication. So, if you have felt connection to nature and want to deepen it, allow yourself to turn around that light. The rewards are immeasurable. Nature is believed to be the gift and blessing of God, and one has the responsibility to preserve it in all its beauty and not destroy it. Nature has its own way of existence, and man could not make any kind of changes so far. Nature is a beauty, and we all need to learn to admire that beauty. Thank you.
Look deep into nature and then you'll understand everything better. Thank you, Pranita. Now the time comes. Nandini ma'am, we are very curious enough to listen to you and your valuable words. Hence, ma'am, I request you to take over the session.
Uh, yeah, can you make it a slideshow? Is it slideshow?
Prasad sir?
Yes, madam, it's in slideshow.
Okay. Yeah. So, good morning to all of you. Happy World Environment Day 2021 with the very strong theme message that we have to restore our ecosystems. So ecosystem is something that we are living in. It is, the earth itself is a very big ecosystem. So therefore, I thought of selecting this topic, ecosystem services of urban green spaces in Bangalore. This is our immediate environment. So let us know what are the services that these ecosystems provide that are in our Bangalore around us and how we need to conserve it. This is the first slide and showing all the biodiversity life that is around us, including the present COVID. So I thought it is the right time that we talk about restoration of our ecosystem. Next slide. Next slide, please. So, the concept of ecosystem goods and services is increasingly used to describe how biodiversity and ecosystems are linked to human well-being. And then it should be placed at the core of the sustainable urban development. So this biodiversity that is there in our Bengaluru. Earlier we were entitled as Garden City, City of Lakes, a clean city, city with a salubrious climate. But today we have lost that stable ecosystem because we have lost the green spaces around us. Green spaces means the parks, schools, institutions which are having greenery, protecting green spaces, the huge forest area, almost 11,000 acre that we had is now reduced, receded to 8,000 acre in Bangalore. So the reason is because of the natural effect as well as the man-made. So the man-made effects are very high. You can move on to the next slide. So because of the man-made anthropogenic activities, there is impact on the biodiversity that is around us. Because biodiversity has so much of value. It has consumptive value, non-consumptive value. And in the next slide, I talk about the next slide, ecological services of biodiversity. It can balance the nature. Today, our Bangalore has lost its ecological balance. The temperature has risen here. The regional climate change is happening and the air quality is become very poor and we are getting shortage of oxygen. The greenhouse gases are increasing because we have lost these ecological services that was given by our greenery, green spaces, which had biodiversity. Biodiversity means floral plants as well as the animals, which was regulating the climate, and it was degrading the waste that was generated by us in the soil. See, microorganisms, there are harmful ones and are also useful ones. The useful ones that are there in the soil are degrading the waste that is generated by us. And there are microbes which can purify the air quality. The plants, micro and macro plants, can purify the air and can purify the water and the main cycling of nutrients that is happening today, that in the soil is because of the biological microorganisms that are present in the soil as well as the plants, which cycle the nutrients like nitrogen, carbon, phosphate, sulfate, and so on, and improve the fertility of the soil. And the pests are also automatically balanced by controlling. Detoxification of soil happens naturally. That is, it has that ecological balancing quality, the service by this biodiversity. Next slide. So threats I already told you is because of some of the natural calamities like flood and other things. And the major threat to biodiversity in urban cities like ours is anthropogenic causes. We destruct the land, change in the land use pattern, a forest land, an ecosystem is converted into buildings, concrete jungle now. The green is gone, we have concrete jungle. So all this is happening because of the anthropogenic activities. You know, the frog species that was there in Bangalore is extinct now. We do not have some of these species in Bangalore, and the fishes that were there in the lakes, because the lakes, we have lost almost 90% of the lakes. In prior to 1920, we had 2,790 lakes, 2,000 and odd lakes. Today we have only around 180 or so. That too, all rejuvenated lakes. All lakes were encroached. The lakes are also the ecosystems that we should have conserved. But we have the urban planning, and which was not a sustainable planning. We have encroached and changed the land use pattern. Next slide. So you see the destruction of our country's biodiversity has led to more than 50% of forest cover is lost. In the last 20 years, we have lost 50%. And so what will be the quality of the air? And because of that, the oxygen, the content, oxygen in the air, breathable air is reduced. It's not balanced. And more than 70% of the water bodies are polluted and drained out. Say, for example, in our Bangalore itself, we find two major rivers which are polluted, Rishabhavati and Arkavati. And, 40% of the mangroves destroyed. And because of that, this is one of the reasons for the flood and cyclone and so on in those areas, in Orissa and places like that. Next slide. So you see the growth of Bangalore city. Next slide. Growth of Bangalore city. Bangalore has grown from town, that is in the middle. This much was the Bangalore initially in 1537, and then it has grown to almost now 500 and plus square meters, and you see square kilometers. And Bengaluru urban with 198 wards now. And now in future, in another few months, the number of wards will increase. Next slide. Increase to 230 or so. So Bangalore is going to grow, sprawl, expansion, and the change in the land use pattern and the loss of forest area, biodiversity, greenery, it's going to happen. And the population is increasing. Almost we are going to reach 1.5. And so what will be the space constraint, the carrying capacity of Bangalore? A carrying capacity, say, for example, in your classroom, if the classroom capacity is supposed to be 40, but if you make 60, 70 to sit in that classroom, That classroom environment loses its carrying capacity, and there is a lot of depletion of the air quality, and the people who are crowded and sitting in one place get affected. Health is affected. Next slide. So this is how in one decade from 2005-6 to 15-16, you see the land use pattern in the central Bangalore has lost that green pentagon, a pentagon-shaped green parks and green space was there, and that is become brown now, red, showing red here. Green has become brown, and you see it is sprawling. And finally, the entire Bangalore, if we do not take action, do not understand how important the biodiversity conservation is, we will lose all these greenery that is left in Bangalore. Next slide. Urban green spaces, I already told you. In Bangalore, we have many parks which are considered as green lungs, or the lungs that has giving out a lot of oxygen. They contribute in bringing the countryside into our dwellings and provide easy accessibility, visual aesthetics, health and well-being that we are going to, it is degrading. So we need to be cautious now. Next slide. So this green spaces give us a lot of recreation, learning spaces, because in Bangalore University, we have 1,200 acres of mini forest biopark, where students come, use the space as their research lab. As a field lab, they study that, we call it as joy of knowledge. And they do Nyanodri trekking, and they learn a lot and enjoy. So these parks and green spaces gives us education, breathing space, and even the celebration. So there are so many urban spaces in Bangalore, lakes, temples are there, churches, sports fields, parks, and so on. Next slide. So these services of these urban green spaces, main is biodiversity, I already told you. Next slide. Next slide. So the air quality, particularly air quality in urban cities, need, if you want to have a good air quality, breathing space, we should maintain this greenery, croplands, forests, parks, which will sink carbon dioxide, which will sink greenhouse gases. So the emissions are increasing in city, Bangalore. I am only giving example of Bangalore. There are so many cities, urban cities in our country, which are having similar issues, similar problem. Therefore, we need to celebrate World Environment Day to highlight on all these issues. And today we are suffering, and there's shortage of oxygen. But if you, I will show you how much oxygen is liberated as a bank, as a tank, oxygen tank in mini forests like our Bangalore University Biopark. So the carbon dioxide emissions and greenhouse emissions are mainly from vehicles. Major emission is vehicles and the population. Then there is urbanization, industrialization. You see how many industrial areas in Bangalore. The carrying capacity is lost. So next slide. Next slide. So what are the benefits of trees? So the trees will consume, sink carbon dioxide emitted by anthropogenic activities and give out oxygen. And then it will make the temperature, the warming, the regional warming, it will reduce. See, in campus, Bangalore University, Biopark, 2 degrees lesser compared to Mysore Road. So this every day we are recording, and you see the trees will have a process of evapotranspiration, and which will from the ground it will release the moisture. So there are so many uses of these greenery. Next slide. Next slide, please. So we still have hopes. Previous slide. Still have hopes. Previous in our garden city. I think next slide. Next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah. This one. This is a forest which is in Kagalikpura Taluk. The earlier slide. That is a forest with 500-acre land, and you know how much of greenhouse gases that are emitted by our Bangalore urban is sinking there. Carbon sequestration is happening, and it is giving out oxygen for the entire growing city. And similarly, we have so many green spaces around Bangalore, like the Ramakrishna Ashram, 200-acre land. We have estimated the carbon sinking potential and how much oxygen this mini forest he has developed. Swamiji has developed this, and it's emitting so much of oxygen given to people. Next slide. So, as you all know, one of the largest park we have is a major green space, a major green lung space in the middle of the city, that is Lalbagh. And we have estimated what are the benefits, the ecosystem services of this Lalbagh, and how we need to protect this kind of parks, create parks, or conserve these parks, and there should be no encouragement. Next slide. I will just show the slides, take you around Bangalore to see the green spaces and make you feel how important it is to maintain this. This is our Jnana Bharati campus, and in the second photograph here, you can see the urban city is trying to sprawl. It's trying to encourage. So there is a PIL and all that to protect this land. See, already in Esargata, one ecosystem, that is grassland ecosystem, is protected because of a PIL. Someone filed a PIL, an environmentalist like you filed to protect that grassland. Last week, there was a judgment in the High Court that an interim order was given to protect that grassland ecosystem, because grassland provides so much of ecosystem services to the society, to the environment, to the health of people. So all ecosystems are beneficial. Next slide. This is Jarakapandi State Forest. See, all these forests are there still. We need to only improve and conserve these, protect them. This is the Jarakapandi State Forest with a very thick vegetation. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah, all of you have heard about Bannerketa National Park, and here also there's a lot of encroachment, mining, and mud lifting, and there are a lot of issues, anthropogenic activities which are being notified, which are being noticed by the environmentalists, and given reports and filed PIL to protect this ecosystem. So it is our duty to conserve these ecosystems because it will give you back your health. So we need to conserve. Next slide. Next slide. Bilateral peacock reserves. You know, peacocks, you can see plenty. And if this place is not conserved, not taken care of, all these faunal life will vanish. In Bangalore University, we have more than 500 peacocks now because of the improvement in the diversity and plantation, like Laksha Vriksha. We go on planting and nurturing, and this ecosystem with the groundwater level is recharged and so on. The climate is so good here. Next slide. So now, when you think about this, as I already told you, the distribution of forest cover in Bangalore urban, you can see in this map, is so very little here and there. We have already lost some green spaces, forests. In 1932, we had 35 identified forests in Bangalore city, spreading across 11,000 acre, and now we are left with only 8,000 acre, and but that too, it is not having a very good ecosystem, not conserved properly. Next slide. You can see the urban sprawling, and this is how we calculated the carbon sinking potential. Greenhouse gases are sunken by this forest area, and this is Bangalore University campus. Today we are sinking 64 tons per hectare of our carbon dioxide that is being released, emitted by the anthropogenic activities, industries, and our carbon footprint. So we need to reduce our carbon footprint. The lifestyle should change. Now, actually, during lockdown period, we are all having a very good lifestyle with maintaining hygiene, sanitation, and that throwaway culture is changed. It is very difficult to continue with the same and follow the Swachh Bharat mission. Swachh Bharat, we need to adopt. Next slide. So in Bangalore, BDA in 2007 said we are left with only 14% of the forest or open spaces. But in 2015, BBMP has developed, has listed almost 1,288 parks. You believe it, that we still have hope. We have so many spaces we can protect, we can conserve. Your institution like yours can conserve these, adopt one of the park near to your college. And shortly, BBMP is going to advertise in the paper for the institution to take up some work like this. So definitely you have to take up with your students and protect these green spaces and give a report and educate people. The total parks that are developed is 1,010, and this much of groundwater is being used. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide, please. So these are some of the photographs of parks. You can just move the slide, and you see some of the temples have very good parks. And you can also see the walk paths in some places, hotels also, they maintain the park, landscaping. So all these are the carbon sinks. Next slide. Children parks are there so that the children get very good breathable air. Now we have been threatened almost by this COVID third wave for children, and it is so disastrous. We have damaged the environment quality, and our children are suffering today. And it is so fearing disaster that today we are living in fear. Because of that fear only, we are falling sick. Corona is having its effect, but the fear only is causing more ill effects. So these parks, all these parks that are there, we have studied the total area and its carbon sinking potential, how they can help, so that we give the report to the government and tell, please improve the parks. See that the schools have very good playgrounds with the parks, so that children live at that age, young age, they have a healthy organs, body should not be damaged organs. So it's very, very important that we conserve these ecosystem. Next slide. So the carbon sequestration by all the trees that were estimated in all these parks were going above a crore or so. So that was estimated this much tons of the carbon sinking potential. Next slide. I don't want to go into detail. And the carbon stock and credit of green spaces. So whenever you talk about carbon sinking or greenhouse gas sinking, we need to tell people what will be the cost of that credit. If you develop a green space, you will get a credit. So this is the credit that we calculated for different parks, Jnana Bharati, Lal Bagh, and this much of money, in terms of money. So that is 910 rupees per ton of carbon. So if we are sinking 64 tons per acre, then into this much 910 rupees. So that way we have been giving awareness about in the form of credit. Next slide. So the sinking potential, I already told you, in Bangalore University, Jnana Bharati, 64 tons per hectare. And so how much oxygen is there? So it is considered as an oxygen bank, a lung space, oxygen tank. So we have, say, I'm just giving an example, 6 lakhs matured trees, only matured trees I am talking about. I'm not talking about the climbers, herbs, shrubs, and grasslands and other things. Only the standing trees, 6 lakhs are there. So a healthy tree will produce 117 liters of oxygen annually. So therefore, 6,000 trees, 6 lakhs trees into this much, we get 7 crore liter of oxygen annually from our Bangalore University Jnana Bharati campus, Bio Park. So the cost of 2.75 liter of potable oxygen today, I think it is increased now, 7,000 or so. And so if you calculate this much liters with this much rupee, I think the value of net oxygen annually produced by trees in Bangalore University Biopark is more than 20 lakhs, current rate of the oxygen. So that is how we need to give the credit. So it's an oxygen. So you can also grow. Next slide. Next slide, please. So therefore, a people biodiversity register was prepared by us for the entire Bangalore, a first of its kind. What people think about biodiversity, because biodiversity is the only one which is giving you all the needed a comfortable life, healthy life, well-being because of biodiversity. So this register is going to come now. BBMP will announce in newspaper. All of you please take up this register and do it in your area, around your institution. And we will we will guide you to prepare this people's perception. Next slide. Next slide. So when we spoke to the people in Bangalore, and this was the reaction. See, majority, that is 83% of the people said that if biodiversity is lost, greenery is lost, we will have a lot of problems, health problems. So 50% of the people said if the rainfall is erratic, then we are facing a lot of issues. Like that, we have questionnaire to the people of Bangalore with different ideas. Next slide. So you can also do this and contribute to our Bangalore biodiversity. Major problems affecting the local biodiversity. They say 56% people say because of illegal construction, and 20% say encroachment of wetlands. So like that, we can find out what people think about biodiversity. Next slide. Next slide. So like that, we have questioned them about the real estate, widening of the road. So majority of the people, around 46 people said that is one of the reasons, that road widening is really a mess. And because of road widening, they are uprooting the trees, cutting trees. So we also brought some trees to Bangalore University, shifted them, and we are growing them here, which were uprooted in the road widening programs. So the air quality, noise, water quality is the major problem. See, 61% of people in Bangalore think air quality is bad and that should be improved. Next slide. Next slide. So the major problems that are affecting is mainly because of lack of awareness about your green spaces. So 46% of the people only feel because of loss of greenery, and because the awareness, they don't know anything about the plants. They don't think that plants give them food, shelter, everything. So next slide. Next slide. Yeah, so it goes on like that. And next slide, I will just show you some of the plants. This is public awareness, where 72% of the people in Bangalore feel that climate change is happening. Bangalore is becoming warmer. Say, for example, when I was in school, some 40 years ago, I used to wear sweater and go to school during February. November only it will start. November, December, January, February, sweaters. Now, without fan, you are not sleeping even during winter months, December also, because of the global warming. 72% feel, the people, residents of these people, those who are living here from more than 30 years. Next slide. So whether this is a threat, global warming is a threat. So they only 27 people say dangerous, because you see in Bangalore, the original residents are only 40%. Rest have come for the job, come for education, come for tourism, come for business, and so only these people, original people who are here, have that feeling. They feel that the Bangalore has lost its quality. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide, please. Next. So now let us come to the real service that you can do. you can do for yourself, if not for the country or for your surrounding, for yourself. So domestic gardening uh, plays a major role in your health. If your health is fine, you will take care of your surrounding people, your environment. This is the concept. So first and foremost, you have to take care of your health to help another 10 people later. If you fall sick, then you can't do anything. Next slide. So these are the plants that you can grow indoor. I think you may be growing it. I have seen in your institution I visited, you have a very good plants with a little space also you have maintained. So these plants absorb the pollutants. And this is called peace lily. I'll just, you can just run the slide. Everybody knows these plants. So this is a very common plant, golden pathos, and which can be grown very easily at home. And the air pollution tolerance index is very high. This begonia also you may be having, they help in removing chemical vapors from the air. Now all of us started spraying your house with chemicals, washing hands with chemicals, washing even vegetables with the chemicals because of the fear of COVID. So if you have these greeneries, they will absorb these chemicals that when you spray, it goes into the air as an aerosol. The same chemical you are inhaling, indoor especially. So you can have, think of this today only on World Environment Day, you can buy some 2 saplings, 3 saplings of this, help that poor person, nursery who is selling the plants, give him another 5 rupees, 10 rupees extra. This is your service to the environment and ecosystem conservation. I think this will be done very happily by our youngsters, young scientists who are here. This is another very common plant, all of you know, which will also eliminate trichloroethylene, solvents and varnishes. When you paint your house, you can't sit there for a long time. You feel giddiness because of the chemicals, varnishes. Next slide. So this will absorb all these varnishes. See, air pollution tolerance index of this plant is 8.66. Next slide. So there's a very big research that is going on in the department, our scholars talking about every plant and what is its APTI index and giving the, see all these plants, all of you know it as croton, I think. It is a cadmium variegatum. So it has an index of 8.84. It can absorb the pollutant. Next slide. Just go on moving the slide. This is also, all of you know, you have, this is called mother-in-law's tongue. Mother-in-law tongue, it has APTI index value 7.86. It can eliminate nitrogen dioxide. This one, all of you know, helps in eliminating carbon monoxide, xylene, benzene, formaldehyde. This is a spider plant you have, chlorophytum. And this one, now this is the air quality before lockdown and during lockdown. So the air quality that we are recording in the campus, in my department, from the past 11 years, 24 hours, we record the air quality. And before, this is, you can see there are block before lockdown, and there is one red color one is during lockdown, which you can, I think it should be written as after lockdown. It is written as, it should be not after, it is during lockdown. I think, are you able to see? So before lockdown, you see the graph is very high. Air quality is so poor. And during red color one has almost reduced to 50%. So this is what I am trying to tell you. Lockdown really helped in controlling the air pollution quality and comparing it with the standard. But again, if we continue the same style of living, I think we can achieve our 2030 agenda. As per next slide. Next slide. Yeah, this is the quality of Shivavati River before lockdown and during lockdown. See the cleanliness, at least it is getting cleaner, but it takes a lot of time to get clean. But at least to some extent, you will see the difference between the photo. Next slide. Next slide. So these are some of the trees around our water bodies. Just show the slide. Move the slide. Yeah. Move the slide. You can just see the diversity around the water bodies. We need to protect all this. Yes. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Yes. Yes. Birds, mammals, odonats. And so this, to conclude, what I want to convey is green belts with suitable plant species shall be developed at least in 33% of the total area and around the industrial premises. All industries should grow plants, 33% of the total area, to mitigate the effects of fugitive emissions as per CPCP guidelines. And protection of other green spaces like parks, lakes, diversity, and domestic rooftop and indoor gardens to conserve urban forests. So to conclude, I strongly support conservation of green spaces so that we can protect life on land, biodiversity, a sustainable future. Thank you all. I thank the organizers of this World Environment Day program, Dr. Suresh, the principal, Sri P. Manjappa, chairman of the institutions, and Mrs. Manjappa, Mr. Keerthan Kumar, CEO, and Mrs. Rekha for continuously keeping in contact with me, and all other organizers for doing a very meaningful program. Thank you all for listening. Thank you.
Ma'am,
Thank you very much.
you know what? We were very curious enough to listen to you and your valuable words. Ma'am, you made our minds very informative. On behalf of Soundarya Institutions of Management and Science, a heartfelt thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now, I call upon Mahalakshmi to present about restoration project.
Good morning, everyone. Firstly, wishing you all a happy World Environment Day. Reimagine, recreate, restore together form the theme of today's World Environment Day, that is ecosystem restoration. UN is making effort to combat climatic change and safeguard biodiversity, food, and water supply. Among many of the programs initiated by UN, restoration of mangrove trees and restoration of Ganga River are also included. Ecological restoration of mangrove trees. Mangrove restoration is the regeneration of mangrove forest ecosystem in areas where they previously existed. The restoration ecology aims to the recovery of ecosystems that have been destroyed and degraded. Mangrove trees provide valuable ecosystem services. One of it is mangrove trees make up only 0.7% of tropical forest area, but its deforestation can lead to 10% increase in carbon. It is projected that a 1 meter rise in sea level could destroy forest in many regions, leads to vulnerability of coastal communities to floods, increased storm activity, etc. A recent estimate puts that nearly 20% of world's mangrove were lost by 2010, and now it has been increased to 40%, especially by human activities. Different approaches faces different challenges in a different way. The most common method of restoring is simply planting a mangrove in an area without knowing the condition that prevails or required. So it becomes crucial to the success of a restoration project to evaluate what the hydrology of a disturbed mangrove site is and the ways in which it has been modified. Healthy mangroves can be grown by having access to the ecology, especially distribution pattern, determining the seedling and hydrological patterns, designing a restoration plan that begins by restoring the normal range of elevations and mainly monitoring it. Mangroves for the Future, MFF, initiative led by IUCN and UNDP, encourages the rehabilitation of mangroves by engaging with local stakeholders for creating platform for change. In Indonesia, this project planted 40,000 mangrove trees to restore them. Another program launched by UN, that is READ, reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation, which has been implemented in Thailand, where the growth of mangrove trees in large scale reduces the carbon content in atmosphere and also to conserve mangrove forest. Great Green Wall, African-led project, aims to create the largest living structure on the planet. Global Restoration Initiative with World Resource Institute to restore millions of hectares of deforested and degraded land. Bond Challenge and India, a report on restoration efforts across states and landscape. And also, India has pledged to restore 21 million hectares of degraded land by 2030. If there are no mangroves, then the sea will have no meaning. It's like a tree with no roots. So let's start to restore our trees. When we talk about restoration of Ganga, as we all know, River Ganga is a sacred river for all Hindus who believe that it washes our sins from our body. River Ganga supplies to 40% of Indian population its water and attracts many pilgrims from all over the world during Kumbh Mela. But due to the agricultural runoff, cattle walling, throwing of unburnt and half-burnt bodies into the river, many industries discharge like untreated waste containing lead, zinc, copper makes it a black deadly cocktail. More of its population is from Varanasi and Kanpur. Now, River Ganga is calling for help, means it's time for us to restore the river. In 14 Jan 1986, Sri Rajiv Gandhi launched a program called Ganga Action Plan with an objective to control pollution. This project took around 20 crore of financial support, but unfortunately, it was unsuccessful. Due to this polluted river Ganga water, the people near the river suffer from urinary tract infection, stomach infection, skin disorder, bone disorder, as River Ganga was known to be rich in its biodiversity. But due to increased pollution, many species are endangered. Here we can see some of the endangered species, which include Ganges dolphin, gharial crocodile, and soft-shell turtles. Then, on June 2014, PM Narendra Modi ji launched a plan known as Namami Ganga, performing better than Ganga Action Plan. This Namami Ganga plan has a budget outlay of 20,000 crore to accomplish the twin objective of effective abatement of pollution, conservation, and regeneration of national river Ganga. To attain its objective, we have 16 mega hydroelectric dams on the Ganga River basin. 54 projects are proposed, 14 are under construction. Survey says water is now more only physically fit, but it has to be cleaned more and it has to be more fitter. So before taking a dip into Gangas, take a dip into yourself, and you won't believe what a sinless running water you can see underneath the stale skin you have. So thank you everyone, and it's our time to restore our environment, our nature. Environment has given us many more. It's our time to give it back. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Mahalakshmi. On this occasion, I request our CEO of Soundarya Institutions of Management and Science, Mr. Kirtan Kumar, to address the gathering.
Very good morning, one and all. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
Sure. Good morning.
Thank you, and very happy Environment Day to one and all. And I would like to thank Dr. Nandini Madam for being a guest for the day and taking us through Bangalore University and the contributions made by Bangalore University as a lung space for Bangalore. Thank you, Madam. And also, my respects to Principal and Dr. Shigeli Sir, Rekha Madam, dear faculty members, and all the students who have spoken so far. So I think environment where we are inhabiting is a very, very important place. And it is very important for us to safeguard, restore. And I think the theme for this year is ecosystem restoration, which means reimagine, recreate, and restore. I think it makes a lot of sense reinventing ourselves, reinventing our thought process, the way we live, the way we take care of ourselves and our families, and the climate and the environment has to be rethought. So I would like to put you all across, what I feel is very important. That is to address this climate crisis. What is causing, climate crisis is accelerating at a very unprecedented rate, and we are not yet ready, for the future, how it's going to be like. And I feel there are some biggest environmental problems of our lifetime. One is, the poor governance is a major factor which is leading to climate crisis. According to economists, the climate crisis is a result of multiple market failures. Economists and environmentalists have urged policymakers for years to increase the price of activities that emit greenhouse gases, one of our biggest environmental problems, and lack of which constitutes a largest market failure. For example, through carbon taxes, which will stimulate innovations in low carbon technology, which is the need of the hour. And to cut emissions quickly and effectively enough, governments must not only massively increase funding on green innovation to bring down the costs of low carbon energy sources, but they also need to adopt a range of policies that address each other's market failure. And also, we are part of OECD country is tax energy use. So, which includes 25 countries, including European Union, and Canada, Singapore, and or many other countries. The current tax structures are not adequately aligned with the pollution profile of energy sources. For example, OECD suggests that carbon taxes are harsh enough on coal production, though it is proved that effective for the electric industry. A carbon tax has been effectively implemented in Sweden. The carbon tax is USD $127 per ton and has reduced 25% of emission till then. So it is very important, and also I think we are part of the Paris Agreement for Climate Change, which is part of United Nations framework. The Convention on Climate Change says the country need to reduce greenhouse gas emissions significantly so that global temperature rise is below 2 degrees Celsius by 2100. We are still in 2021, and we're looking at another 80 years. So it's very important for the governments to come together and have a strong foothold. And many more issues are there. I think food waste, which is human consumption around the world, is about 1.3 billion tons of food is wasted and lost. So it is also very, very important. And again, as Madam told, biodiversity loss, plastic pollution, which is also a huge, we can see almost about, it was in 1950, about 2 million tons of plastic per year. And by 2015, we have 419 million tons of plastic produced, out of which 11 million tons of plastic is going into the sea. This is a greater cause of concern. And again, deforestation, air pollution, and again, agriculture is also a cause of climate crisis and global warming from fossil fuels. And again, I was just a few days, we are right now in the pandemic time, and there was a wonderful documentary that's on Netflix. I wish all of the students to go through, is Life on Our Planet. Life on Our Planet by world-renowned naturalist. His name is David Attenborough. I'm sure he's a naturalist who's 60 years of career outlining how steeply the health of the planet has declined in his lifetime, and also makes grim predictions about the future, how humanity should not continue in its current path. And he has few alarming things that he has put it through, and I would like to put here, and it makes a lot of sense, because I feel our students for the future are the change makers, and we have to contribute in climate change, and we have to work with governments, and we have to work with a lot of organization, do a lot of study, and ensure that we keep our environment safe. So here are a few things. Attenborough maps out on how humanity's wanton destruction of nature will render the planet totally degraded and barren, uninhabitable for millions, and bringing biodiversity populations crashing. Since 1950, animal population have halved, more than half, and while domestic birds population have skyrocketed, and 70% of the mass birds on the planet are domestic birds, and mostly chickens. Humans account for 1/3 of weight of mammals on the earth, and a further 60% of animals are those that are raised for us to eat. The rest, from mice to whales, make up just 4% of domestic animals require swathes of land, and half of the fertile land of the planet is now farmlands. And humans, is an alarming factor that we cut about 15 billion trees per year, and this is just one facet of planet's degradation thanks to humans, which has resulted in 30% of fish stocks being fished to critical levels and freshwater populations declining by 80%. And he also makes few horrifying predictions for 2030, 2040, 2050, 2080, and 2100s. So here is what he says, that in 2030, with continued deforestation of the Amazon rainforest. So to your knowledge, Amazon holds about 70% of Earth's carbon, and it will degrade to a point where it can no longer produce enough moisture and transforming into dry savanna. Not only will this decimate the biodiversity in the rainforest, but it will also alter the global water cycle. So, and again, in 2040, north frozen permafrost foils will thaw and release methane into the atmosphere, a far more potent greenhouse gas, and carbon dioxide, which makes our soil to be infertile and we cannot produce anything. And in 2050, oceans continue to heat and become more acidic. Coral reefs and around the world will bleach and die. And this will cause the fish populations to crash, and which will affect millions of people who rely on ocean for their livelihoods and like fishing and tourism. 2080, global food production will enter into a crisis. Soils become exhausted by overuse, pollinating insects will disappear, the weather will become more unpredictable. And in 2100s, the planet will be 4 degrees Celsius warmer, rendering large parts of Earth uninhabitable and leaving millions of people homeless. Scientists predict that sixth mass extinction will be well underway at this point, causing irreversible damage to the planet. The security and stability of Holocene era, our Garden of Eden, is what he says. Mass extinction. Yesterday, we could see one of the white rhinos, which has seen the whole, the year of dinosaurs, and till now their existence was there, which lost its. There is only one prevailing in the world in Kenya now. So, and again, this was all about the horrifying experiences, but there are solutions. If there are problems, there are solutions, and humans have great abilities to solve it. So, all hope is not lost. However, David says that we will still have time to halt and even reverse the damage we have caused to the planet. And here are the solutions. So, we need to slow the rate at which global population is growing. By 2100, the population is expected to be 11 billion people. To slow the population growth rate, we need to raise people out of poverty, improve access to global health care, and enable children, and especially girls, to stay in school for as long as possible. So there's a great thing he's pointed out. Poverty is also a reason for climate crisis. Access to healthcare also is a reason, and children and women are also can help out in coming out of climate crisis. And we need to shift to renewable energy, a process which is already happening at a rapid but not rapid enough pace. So at the turn of the century, Morocco relied on importing oil and natural gas, oil and gas for almost of its energy. Today, it generates 40% of its needs at home from renewable sources. So boosting the world's largest solar farms are very necessary with rapid advancement in the area. So Morocco could be an energy exporter by 2050. Globally, renewable energy may be a dominant source of energy in the next 20 years. And it is divestment from fossil fuels, and points out the irony on banks and investment firms investing pension funds in fossil fuels when these dirty fuels preventing the future we are saving for. So you can know where are the countries where they spend their pension funds, and fossil fuels have to be divested into solar, into renewable energy. And again, we need to restore or rewild biodiversity on the planet. When ecosystems are more diverse, they are better able to, essential ecosystem services like carbon sequestration. An example of this is, in Western Pacific Island nation, dependent on its oceans for food and tourism, where fishing stocks are rapidly depleting. The government restricted fishing practices and banned fishing entirely in some areas, and protected fish population soon become unhealthy, and so that they spilled into areas where fishing was allowed. So there are no fish zones, resulted in increasing catches for fishermen and recovered coral reefs. So globally, it is very important for the governments to implement no fish zones, which will, over one third of the nation, so which would have all the fish we would need. And the UN is trying to do that to create larger no fish zone in international waters. Additionally, we need to reduce the space we use for farmland to instead make space for returning wilderness. The easiest ways to do is to change our diets. So I think this is very well told that, we need to reduce the space that we use for farmland instead of make space for wilderness, is to change our diet. So largely, if we have had, all had a largely plant-based diet, we would need half of the land we use right now. In nature, large carnivores are fairly rare, and over every predator of the Serengeti, there are more than 100 prey animals which require, their food. Finally, we need to halt the deforestation, as the forests are the planet's biggest ally in locking away carbon. Further, forests must be more biodiverse, and this will make more effective in absorbing carbon. Crops like oil palm and soya should only be grown on land that has deforested long ago. So the example is Costa Rica is used a century ago, where 3/4 of the nation was covered by forest. By the 1980, the rampant deforestation, this was reduced to 1/4, and the government intervened, giving grants to landowners to replant native trees. So thanks to the initiative, and the forests now cover half of Costa Rica. So finally to say that the problem is immense, but we already have the knowledge and skills to halt and reverse it. We need to re-examine our relationship with nature, and working with the nature instead against it, and restore our planet with its former glory. So with this, I thank everyone for the opportunity, and it's high time for all the stakeholders of the institution to be very sensitive and sensitize our students, and develop leadership in order to bring a lot of climate change, and also to sensitize. There are many things that was told in I think Nandini madam's presentation, in terms of like hiking, like the hikings in that we can do, and there are a lot of good projects that we can take forward. Research on studies can be done by our students in a small bits and pieces, and adaptation of parks, because those are our lung spaces. So let us all work on keeping this planet very healthy and hale, and keeping ourselves healthy. It is very important for now, and staying strong during this pandemic times, and build a lot of strength among each other, because seeing a plant grow is such a satisfying notion among ourselves. So I could experience. So each one plant one, and let's make this year more greener than the last year it is. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Those were very inspirational. When we reconnect with nature, we will recover, restore the ecosystem. Now, I invite Smita for a presentation.
A very good morning to one and all present here. I'm Smita from first sem BCA. Today, I want to wish you all happy World Environment Day. Today, I'm going to explain ecosystem restoration. We all know that on 5th June, we celebrate World Environment Day. But the first World Environment Day was celebrated on 5th June 1974 with a theme called Only One Earth. World Environment Day has developed as a platform on the problems facing by our environment, such as air pollution, plastic pollution, illegal wildlife trade, sustainable consumption, sea level increase, food security, etc. In 1987, it was decided to rotate the countries to select a host country for the Environment Day activities. This year, World Environment Day 2021 is celebrated on June 5th across the world, and the host country is Pakistan. The theme is ecosystem restoration. Ecosystem restoration means assisting the recovery of ecosystem that has been degraded, preventing, halting, and reversing the damage from exploiting nature to healing it. In 2014, Government of Pakistan began an afforestation drive, that is Billion Tree Tsunami. The main motto of this Billion Tree Tsunami is restoring mangroves, increasing forest cover, planting trees in urban setting. Recently, Pakistan has launched a new platform called as Ecosystem Restoration Fund. This is to create green job, natural-based solutions such as climate change, promote biodiversity. Creating good relationship with nature. 4.5 billion years ago, Earth was created and it is incredibly complex and fragile network of interconnected system. From smallest microorganisms to large animals, all life on Earth has a common ancestor and everything is connected. So in last 3.5 billion years of life on Earth, everything has followed a natural course of evolution. However, our rapid success as a species has begun to affect this natural order. With our population at 7.9 billion and climbing, we have played a tremendous role in disruptions of Earth's natural system. As we continue to grow and have a greater impact on the Earth system, it is imperative that we address our role and relationship with nature. We are in very peculiar position where our only goal is to achieve stability for ourselves and our kin. However, we also have an obligation to maintain the environment as we depend on the resources and the services it provides. Previous slide, sir. Now the question arises is, what is our role in nature? Do we have the right to manipulate the land, factory farm animals and pollute the waterways? In order to answer these questions, we must rely on our knowledge of Earth. Our relationship with nature has historically been one of the imbalance and overuse. At first, humans were incredibly in tune with their surrounding. With advancement of the technology, agriculture, humans began to find more efficient way to sustaining themselves. We find ourselves at the peak of the technology and pollution. We are already seeing the effects of industrial waste through the extinction of species, the melting of glaciers, and the destructions of landscape. As we continue to disturb the world's natural system, we are recognizing a rippling of consequences. Every 3 seconds, the world loses enough forest to cover a football pitch, and 50% of the coral region have already been lost. 90% would be lost at the year of 2050. Even the global warming is limited to increase of just 1.5 degrees Celsius. The growth of cities has also been allowed for separation between the people and nature. With technology advancement, nature became something we are like no longer a part of and entirely subjected to, but something that we could control and profit of. Emergence of current pandemic has also allowed just how dangerous the consequence of ecosystem loss can be. World Environment Day may help in repairing large areas so that the people have the access to food, clean water, and job. We can indulge ourselves in small activities called as afforestation, reduce, reuse, recycle, plastic free, conserve water, and clean environment, which is very necessary in this current pandemic situation. Investing in ecosystem is equals to investing for our future. Some countries have already invested in bouncing back from the pandemic, and it's our time to educate some people and create awareness among them. A small change can make a very big difference. By this, I shall wrap up my presentation. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.
Thank you so much, Smita. Now it's time for presidential address by a principal of Soundarya Institutions of Management and Science, Dr. Suresh C. Hegade.
Am I audible? To everyone, I am Dr. Suresh Hegade, Principal of the Soundarya Institute of Management and Science, Bangalore. Warm greetings and a happy World Environment Day to one and all present here on behalf of members of SIMS family on the eve of World Environment Day celebrations. Honorable resource person of the today's virtual seminar, Dr. Nandini N. Madam, Professor and Principal Investigator, Department of Environmental Science, Bangalore University. Respected guest of honor of the today's virtual seminar, Mr. Keith. Respected Professor A. Sir, Head of the Department of Pure Science, SIMS. respected Srimati Rekha Madam, Head of the Department of Computer Science SIMS, respected members of the teaching fraternity, and my loving student friends. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are all joined here virtually for one-day seminar on ecosystem services of urban green spaces in Bangalore, being organized by the Department of Pure Science and Computer Science in association with IQAC of Soundarya Institute of Science and Management on the eve of World Environment Day celebrations. The very purpose of today's seminar is to raise awareness about the impacts of human activities on the environment and to tell people that nature should not be taken for granted and must be respected for its values. Reimagine, recreate, restore together form the theme of the World Environment Day 2021, that is ecosystem restoration. It is high time for every one of us to respect and acknowledge everything that the environment has given us and to take pledge that will protect it. Our planet's alarm is going off and it is time to wake up and take action. Ladies and gentlemen, the global outbreak of the deadly coronavirus has affected human lives and daily activities, but it has improved the air quality and reduced the water pollution. With most of the cities under lockdown, there has been a significant reduction in carbon emissions, which has restored the ecological system. But disposal of medical waste like disinfectants, masks, gloves, PPE kits, and the burden of untreated waste has also increased multifold impact on the ecosystem during the pandemic period. Once the situation bounces back to normal, the environment may start suffering again. Hence, long-term goals and the proper implementation of strategies and policies are the need of the hour for global environmental sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my humble request to all my dear students to take a small step to restore the green planet. All you need to do is plant a sapling in and around your house and nurture them. Or make seed balls of any plants and throw it to the fields where it can grow and nurture. Or keep grains on the terrace with water to feed the birds. Kindly do any one of this so that together we can restore the old glory of our planet. Ladies and gentlemen, on the eve of World Environment Day celebrations, when we contacted and requested Dr. Nandini-N. Madam to be the resource person for the today's seminar, Madam was very kind enough to consider our earliest request. This shows her concern and commitment towards the protection of our environment. Madam, we are all blessed through your gracious presence. Madam explained in her address the services provided by our ecosystem and also the damages we have done and doing for our ecosystem. Madam highlighted how Bangalore was, how it is now, and how it will be in the future. Madam urged, if we fail to preserve our ecosystem in Bangalore, definitely Bangalore city, once called City of Gardens, City of Lakes, will become a city of hell to live in. Hence, it is a high time for all of us to save and preserve our ecosystem by taking necessary measures so that we can see once again the old glory of Bangalore city. Madam, your presentation on ecosystem was wonderful, highly informative and thought-provoking. We are all enlightened through your meticulous and effective presentation on the theme of World Environment Day 2021. Madam, we all know you are a well-wisher, strong supporter and motivator of our esteemed institution. We expect the same kind of support and guidance in the days to come towards our institution so that we can make an attempt to construct a better society to live in. Now I take this opportunity to express our deep sense of gratitude to Madam on behalf of management, faculty members, and also on my personal behalf for accepting our invitation and gracing the occasion. Thank you so much, Madam. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for me to express our deep sense of gratitude to our beloved Chief Executive Officer of Soundarya Educational Trust, none other than Mr. Keertan Kumar, sir. Sir, on behalf of everyone present here, I express our deep sense of gratitude for your highly informative and thought-provoking presentation on present ecosystem, and also for your presence, support, encouragement, and inspiration for organizing today's seminar, which otherwise would not have been possible. We really appreciate your constant support, guidance, and motivation in organizing such kind of seminars and webinars. Thank you so much, sir. A seminar of this nature becomes meaningful and successful only when large number of faculty and student delegates extend their support by joining virtually. We got a tremendous response from faculty and students for today's seminar. Hence, on behalf of SIMS family, I express our deep sense of gratitude to all the participants for making today's webinar a grand success. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, now I take this opportunity to congratulate and express words of appreciation to students' representatives, namely Bhavya, Harshita, Smita, Pranita, and Mahalakshmi for their wonderful presentations on the theme of World Environment Day 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, I take this opportunity to congratulate and to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Professor N.B. Sigeli sir, Srimati Rekha madam, and the team members for taking initiation and organizing today's seminar so systematically, meticulously, and effectively. And also to all my faculty members of SIMS for extending your wholehearted support and involvement in making today's seminar a meaningful one. Thank you so much. With these few words, before concluding, once again, I express my heartfelt gratitude to everyone in making today's seminar a successful one. So once again, before concluding, I wish Happy Environment Day to one all present here. Thank you so much.
A heartfelt thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
We, the Soundaryans, have a message from our faculty and student. Now, I request Prasad sir to take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Suresh Hegde, Principal of Soundarya Institute of Management and Science. Warm greetings to one and all on the eve of World Environment Day celebrations. The very purpose of World Environment Day celebrations is to raise awareness about the impacts of human activities on the environment and to tell people that nature should not be taken for granted and must be respected for its value. Reimagine, recreate, restore, together these form the theme of the World Environment Day celebrations 2021, that is ecosystem restoration. It is high time for every one of us to respect and acknowledge everything that the environment has given us and to take pledge that we will protect it. Our planet's alarm is going off and it is time to wake up and take action. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my humble request to all of you to take a small step to restore the green planet. All you need to do is plant a sapling in and around your house and nurture them. or make seed balls of any plants and throw it to the fields where it can grow and nurture, or keep grains on the terrace with the water to feed the birds. Kindly do any one of these so that together we can restore the old glory of our planet. Thank you so much.
Hello everybody. Alright, it is estimated that the age of the earth is about 4.5 billion years. And okay, then next one is after 1 billion years, alright, the life, alright, our nature existed on the earth here because of the cooling up there, so many factors are there. Then next one is also it is observed that here, so after 1 billion years here, so non-living and light after 1 billion is so before 3.5 billion years here, and the life existed on the earth here, right, living and non-living, was various creatures, mammals, so many things are there. I will not touch upon that one. Then it is also estimated that the movement of the man or human being, of course Darwin's theory is also there, okay, and now it is observed before 50,000 years. Then of course they started man living, stone age and all that is there. The next one is what is the man who is said to be social animal, is said to be dangerous to the environment also. But here over the last few hundred years, man started causing damage to the earth here because of the change in the lifestyle and so on. But what is more serious is over the last 100 years, particularly last 50 years, you can say 50 to 75 years here, man has started causing damage to the environment of the earth, right, at a large scale in all fields, mining you take, or even the forest cutting and all that is just to become to what you can say to meet the requirement of the right changing lifestyle of the human being, right. So this one thing, so causing is then later on, okay, then governments and non-government, right, so the organizations thought of what, let us control the what, right, environment means what, loss of the environment, ecosystem, whatever you call that, right. Then many right environmentalists fought against the right construction of dam, and even many the industries were located or built, or can say, along the banks of the river here, mainly to for the flow of the waste, industrial waste here. So that is there, if you observe along the banks of the some of the major rivers here. And this sort one thing, then causing damage and all that is here. So though you got plans by the government and non-government organization, but they are not successful. Means what the output of those plans or whatever they carried out, not up to the expected level. Okay, so anyway, Mother Earth is there, it is adjusting itself to the some extent here. Alright, still Mother Earth is favored to us. This is what my personal opinion. This is one way of damaging what to talk about the right environment, all that is here by the man. But personally, what I feel that man, that means woman also included there, and also contributed to the earth also. So man has made earth look more beautiful at some places by constructing like buildings here, roads, and so many things here. Or even channelizing the water flow by constructing dams here, of course for the need here for the human being, right, comfort it is, you can say. And this one thing also, what I said, another contribution to the earth is that man has lighted some part of the earth after sunset. So this is what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Professor Rekha. Wish you all a very happy World Environment Day. The theme of this year is Ecosystem Restoration, which focuses on a campaign to reimagine, to recreate and to restore. Ecosystem restoration is all about recovering the degraded or destroyed ecosystem and also conserving our healthy ecosystems. Till date, we have caused the climate crisis, the biodiversity crisis and the pollution crisis. So friends, it's a time for us to reverse this damage that we have done. Let us all be the first generation to reimagine, to recreate, and to restore the nature to an action for a better world. So, dear friends, let us all join our hands for these restoration initiatives and let's achieve the sustainable development goals to make this world a better place for all of us. Thank you.
Hi everyone, wish you all happy World Environment Day from Vijay Lakshmi, Soundarya Institute of Management and Science. World Environment Day is celebrated on 5th June every year across the globe to tell the people that nature should not be taken for granted and must be respected for its value.
Hello everyone, I'm Divya, Assistant Professor from Soundarya Institute of Management and Science. Would like to greet you all a very happy World Environment Day. The theme of this year is ecosystem restoration. Let us all be responsible towards our environment. Taking care of environment today will promise us to be happier tomorrow. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Mahalakshmi wishing you a very happy World Environment Day. Let's come together to restore our environment. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.
Happy Environmental Day. Ecosystem restoration is a process of assisting the recovery of ecosystem that has been degraded. We have to restore the ecosystem as it provides habitat, promotes food chains, helps recycling of nutrients and maintaining the flow of energy. We can restore ecosystem by setting a goal, making a strategy, removing the source of degradation and most importantly, be patient. Thank you.
Don't be greedy. It's time to be green. I, Zubeda Banu, wishing you happy Environmental Day. I am here to speak about ecosystem restoration and rewilding gardens. Rewilding excites people with its images of woods and ambition to return entire landscapes to nature as humans. We draw after centuries of domination, but the grandeur of rewilding can also make the concept seem remote or irrelevant to people living even more urban lives. But there are principles of rewilding, stepping back and allowing natural processes to occur and encouraging wild plants and insects. Firstly, rewild ourselves. Secondly, discard all pesticides, weed killers, slug pellets and fertilizers. Third, decorate concrete. Fourth, pond life. Fifth, rewild our lawn. Sixth, don't overplant. Seventh, relax our gardening and our ideas about native and non-native. 8. Rattle our grass. 9. Space for nature. 10. Encourage wildness around us. 11. Be surprised. I conclude by saying that potentially exciting and new approach to conservation needs informed thinking, needs imagination of landscape issues, complementary to traditional approach, not a substitute. Hence I wrap up by telling that stay home, stay safe. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I am Chaitra. Now I am going to give you the brief introduction about economic restoration in form of growing trees. The fresh air we breathe, the beauty of the nature that we enjoy shows us the importance of tree plantation. The tree provides us two basic needs, that is food and oxygen, and also provides shelter to the birds and animals. As a result, our basic needs are fulfilled by trees and we are totally depends on them. The benefits of growing trees: tree maintain the ecological balance of the environment. Tree have a capacity of reducing the heat up to 8 to 10 degrees, and tree acts as a shield to UV rays and reduce its impact by 50%. From roots to leaves, every part of a tree is beneficial to us. So we should plant and grow more and more trees and protect them. Trees add to quality to our life, and living without trees and forests, there may be a desert and desolation all around us. Save tree, save life. Thank you.
Hey guys, this is Rahul and I wish you all happy World Environment Day. Let's go green.
Good morning everyone, I'm Shweta from Department of Pure Science. I'm wishing you all happy World Environmental Day. As we all know that World Environmental Day is celebrated on June 5th. So Let's celebrate. Why we need to celebrate World Environmental Day? To protect our environment, to know about environmental issues like global warming, human overpopulations, and sustainable consumptions. So nowadays we are facing corona. The only prevention is save trees, save wildlife, and save our earth. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. A nation that destroys its soil destroys itself. It's a time to remind people the importance of environment. It's an opportunity to broaden the basis for the enlightened opinion and responsible conduct by citizens in preserving and enhancing the richness of environment. Let's join our hands to restore our environment and explore its inner beauty. Let's nurture our nature so that we can have a better future. Thank you, everyone.
In the past decade, the Convention on Biological Diversity (CBD) has identified EBA, ecosystem-based adaptation and green recovery, as a key pathway to address the interconnectivity between climate, health, biodiversity and ecosystem loss. To name few,
farming communities in San Francisco, Las Flores have been helping to protect and monitor natural forest. This has contributed to forest regeneration and conservation, which in turn improves ecosystem services such as water. Maintaining water buffering is critical for securing an adequate supply of water for households, agricultural fields and vegetation density in the times of drought.
In Gambia, the government is restoring 13,400 hectares of degraded forests, farmlands and wildlife areas to increase groundwater supplies and keep soil fertile. This is set to benefit an estimated 46,200 households. Better access to water also helps local communities have better access to hygiene and sanitation facilities, which are especially essential during the COVID-19 pandemic.
In northern Colombia's La Monjan region, farmers have been planting native heirloom seeds to mitigate adverse climate events such as droughts. Planting these seeds helps farmers ensure a good harvest when seasonal rains are delayed or do not come, and earn additional income, which helps them endure the economic shocks of the pandemic.
So friends, a crucial ally is nature itself. We must use nature-based solutions which benefit nature and people by protecting, sustainably managing and restoring the ecosystems. I wish you, on the behalf of Soundarya Institute of Management and Science, Department of Computer Science and Pure Science, again a very happy World Environment Day. Thank you.
Did you all see? Those were very inspirational and heart-touching. All the Soundaryans promised to move a step forward towards environment for the better us. The joy is the simplest form of gratitude. Now, I request Divyashri ma'am of Computer Science Department to deliver vote of thanks.
Hello everyone, hope I'm audible. So we have reached the end of the program. Before concluding, I would like to announce the winners of the event last day, which was conducted on the eve of Environment Day. There were more than 80 participants from all over the Bangalore from various colleges. The event was conducted by two groups. The winners of the group A is, the first prize goes to Hanifa M from Jindal College. The second prize goes to Anusha C, again from Jindal College. The third prize goes to Vikas D from Soundarya Central School. And there's a tie for the third prize. Rahul N. Kini also secures third prize, Soundarya Institute of Management and Science. And the winners from the group B are, the first prize, Akanksha from Bangalore University. The second prize goes to Akash D, MES Kishore Kendra. Third prize, Rabia Kulsum from St. Anne's FGS Women College. The game was on online session. This game was with the 3 rounds. One was a connection and the other one was a crossword. And the third one was a scribbling. It's an online gaming. I congratulate all the participants and all the winners for taking part in this game. So before concluding, I request each and every one who are assembled here to switch on your videos for a photo clip. I request, please switch on your videos. Rekha ma'am, done?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. You can go ahead. One second. Okay, you can go ahead.
I deem it a great honor and grateful that I got an opportunity to end this day by giving vote of thanks on the occasion of Environment Day 2021. I, on behalf of Soundarya Institute of Management and Science, would like to extend hearty gratitude to the keynote speaker, Dr. Nandini ma'am, who contributed her valuable time today for making efforts to save environment. Thank you, ma'am. We are grateful to our management and CEO, Mr. Kirtan Kumar, for his words of encouragement. I thank him for his interest and continued support. Thank you, sir. I thank our beloved principal, sir, Dr. Suresh C. Hegadi, for his stewardship. His able guidance has always encouraged us. Thank you, sir. My heartfelt thanks to HOD of Physics, C.K. Halli, sir, and HOD of Computer Science, Rekha ma'am, and all the various heads of the department, and all the faculty for their valuable contribution and guidance in all our efforts. Thank you all. And my special thanks to IT manager, Prasad sir, for the technical support. Thank you, sir. I'm intensely happy to see our students making their efforts in presenting about the importance of environment and creating awareness about the environment. Thank you, students. Such a support attitude of our students and students and involvement, especially youths, to participate in order to save environment. Thank you all for being with us today. Once again, I wish you all a very happy World Environment Day. Thank you.
Thank you. And today we are at the end of our session. And I thank all the delegates who are present here in this webinar. Thank you very much. And so with the permission, can we wind up the